And the idea here is that the bishop needs to keep the protection of the pawn on the side of the board.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray would be able to just use his rook to chase after the bishop until it's a draw.
Let's
Hey,
see.
Hikaru.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
I've been better.
We're just looking at the end of what was a crazy, crazy game. We assume it ended in a draw?
Yeah, I mean, the game ended in a draw. I wish I could be happier about it, but I mean, it's very disappointing because obviously, I mean, I outplayed Ray the whole game, and then in typical fashion at the end, I got very sloppy for a couple of moves. Yeah, and it ended in a draw.
Where do you think you were sloppy?
Well, I mean, the whole position after, I mean, B takes C6 is a good example. I should have used a lot more time there. I think because basically I'll tell you what happened. When he got really low on time before playing B takes C6, like I looked at all the lines with Bishop F8, Bishop F8, Queen F8, and then B takes C6 while he was thinking. And I was happy. I thought after B takes C6, I'm just winning. And then when he took on C6, I forgot that there's this in between Bishop B4 line. And I assumed there was some trick. And I mean, it's not even so much that there isn't something better here. I mean, oh, is Bishop takes F2 win it? No, not knight E2 is correct. Okay. But it's more that I didn't use time. So like as soon as I took on C6 and went Bishop B4, then I was a little bit off center because like I had not calculated this. And so then once that happens, the sort of the seeds of doubt become in your mind. And then of course he played knight takes E4 and. And then there's this moment where okay, takes, keep going.
Knight
And
takes e4 was fantastic, no?
yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the best move, but yes, from a general standpoint, I mean, considering that he's so low on time, it was a very good practical decision. But then yeah, I didn't think after. I mean, yeah. So here, I mean, because there are many problems. Like I said, the thing is, as soon as you miscalculate one line, you start like thinking and worrying about everything. And so like yeah, here I played King G7, only move, Queen C6. Yeah, and after Queen C6, I mean, I played Rook B8. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bishop F5 is better here. Instead of Rook B8, I wasn't sure, but like the whole thing is, it's very hard to judge because I thought after Bishop F5 there was I thought there was like yeah like not 93 Queen B7 I thought was very tricky. And then Bishop D7, and I mean, I don't know. I was worried about like Queen D5, for example. I was worried about like Rook D2 maybe as well. Like, I mean, again, if I haven't missed something, it's probably a little bit more balanced here. But like already, I'm worried about what's going on just because I don't really have a good feel.
No, but it looks
Uh,
incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is, like, I mean, I should have thought about it, but I also assumed that this endgame was winning, which is probably a big mistake too. I thought it was easily winning, so I go Rook B8, Rook E8, and then I don't think here. And if I play Rook B6, I win the game, obviously.
You
But
think so?
well, isn't it all forced,
Some of the
or is there more to
variations
it?
were
Bishop F5?
crazy. Here,
Wait, it's
Bishop
Bishop F5?
F5 is the only move. And
Ah,
then
it goes
Queen
on.
D6? Like Queen D6, you allow this check on G5? It's crazy, no?
If Queen D6 is the only winning move, then yeah, maybe it's not so bad. Okay, like I just assumed this was winning.
No,
Ah.
because what the engines were recommending was that you allow yourself to be pushed into the corner. And that is just not human.
Like this. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not so simple, but still, like, I should have used more time instead of playing. I mean, I played Queen D7 instantly. I didn't. I mean, I had 10 minutes there, and I played it instantly, which I think was just a bad decision. And then yeah, like, I guess it's not actually winning here, right? Um, I just assumed this endgame had to be winning somehow. I was sure this was winning, and then I guess it's not actually winning. Yeah, he goes Rook B7, Bishop D4. Yeah, now after Knight 2, I played King G6 like a complete idiot. I mean, my plan was to go King F6, and then I played King G6 like, which was just so stupid. Because after King F6, Knight B3, then I have Knight C5. I mean, maybe it's not winning, but I keep the two bishops here, and now I mean, maybe it's still a draw, but White's gonna have to be very precise, I feel, in order to save the game here.
Oh, we
Um,
thought maybe you were being a genius because here the engine said that it's probably a draw because white manages to capture another pawn on the side of the board. And so I said, oh,
so it goes
Hikaru
on.
is so clever because he goes king g6 to protect that pawn. And now he can still go knight c5 next.
Yeah, no. I mean, basically, like, but the thing is, like, I expect knight b3 either way. I mean, I didn't see rook b5, obviously, but the thing is, on king g6, now there's knight takes d4. So I was very annoyed at myself, like, at this moment, because it's just like, what? I mean, this is draw, obviously. You can just put the knight on, like, knight somewhere. Actually, this is probably cleaner with, like, h3, knight c4, h3, and then eventually knight will stop the a pawn. But yeah, I was just like, I mean, very, very disappointing the way that I did that. Because also after bishop a3, I mean, I don't remember the time situation, but I think bishop takes c3 was also probably objectively just a bad decision because it made his moves a lot easier. He didn't really have like 3 or 4 different moves to consider towards the end.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. What was the
Like
bishop takes?
bishop takes c3 when I sacked the rook on f8. I could have moved the rook and just kept going. And I mean maybe it's the best line, but I mean I thought that like if I move the rook to I don't know like f6 or something and just keep or e8 and just keep the game going, I don't know. Like I mean the thing is there are no obvious moves for white now. That's the thing. Like I can just keep going with like h4 and bishop e6. I mean it's not like this is winning, but from a time standpoint, he's gonna have to use a lot of time here. With no obvious moves. And so once I allowed the knight takes e4, I mean, it was just like, yeah, that's what it is.
How do you reflect on the day overall?
I mean, I guess the day is good objectively. I mean, it's disappointing. I would have preferred to have won this last game. I mean, to be fair, like in all fairness, the games aren't rated, so it's kind of hard to be super unhappy. But still, it's been pretty standard. I feel like in general, I mean, you know, I've had a couple of great winning, not great actually, just outright winning positions again, just like in Germany, where you know, I'm just winning easily in the blitz against Fabiano, winning easily against Ray, and then I mean, I basically just messed the whole thing up, like a complete lunatic. So I'm not really happy about that. I mean, I won the rapid game, which I haven't looked at it yet, but I feel like that was probably the worst game of the day. So you know, I guess it kind of evens out. But I'm not really all that happy, I would say.
Worse than the Blitz game.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at it in depth, but I had a feeling when I played e4, knight f4, rook c7, there was probably something that was very good for black. Maybe I'm
Hmm.
wrong.
Okay, we thought the rapid game was pretty good actually.
I mean, again, I haven't looked, but I mean, like both Ray and I assume there was something good for black after this yeah, after e4, knight f4, rook c7. Go back. Yeah, rook c7. I mean, is black not better? Oh, black's not better. Oh.
No, black is better, but it's bishop takes d4, which I was saying this is never gonna happen in a million
No,
years.
but I mean, Ray thought about this, and I mean, I had a feeling there was something here too. But okay, I mean, after he allowed me to go bishop c4, it's probably still fine, but I don't think I was in danger of losing. Yeah, like here it's. Oh wow, this is actually just really good for white. Wow, okay.
It's
I thought
very
this was,
interesting.
I thought this was fine. I didn't think this was like an advantage. Interesting.
Well, the engine wasn't too happy with your king to d2 move. It wanted you to just attack the
Ah,
knight so
just
that
take the
you
pawn
take
on
the pawn.
e7. Oh, I didn't even consider this. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even consider this. What's wrong with me?
Well, I guess it helps the scope of your bishop a little bit, but we were really impressed with how you kind of managed to activate your king during the game.
Yeah, but I mean, this okay. This hmm. Okay. This doesn't actually make me feel better. This makes me feel worse
Yeah.
about all this. But yeah, I would say I wasn't really happy with the rapid game. I was happy with the blitz game until I decided to throw it all away. And obviously I'm unhappy with this last classical game. Just because it feels like there were opportunities, and when I got low on time, you know, I kind of couldn't put the games away.
I wanted to ask you, since you specified that motivation and the rating points, because the prices in this event are
Hmm.
very generous,
Hmm.
but
Yeah,
you're saying that the rating points are just a much bigger motivator for you than money.
well, you know, one thing I will say is, and that this is completely on me, is that like I actually a couple of things. First of all, until like right before the games began yesterday, I didn't realize that I was playing Fabiano 3 times. I actually thought that I played Fabiano once, and then then they would repair. So like I actually that's on me for getting that wrong. But then secondly, I also didn't realize how big the prizes were, because honestly, if I'd realized that you know the classical games were worth $14,000, I would have just made a quick draw against Fabiano and just like in that final game rather than trying to be creative or even later just being boring with D3 knight D2. So I was kind of like really annoyed at myself last night about that. because that was kind of stupid. But I would say that ultimately for me, yeah, I mean, the prizes are quite good, obviously. But I think that when I look at these games without like actual rating points on the line, I mean, for me, I find it a little bit tough to be super motivated. It's also why I've been trying some things that are a little bit on the edge as well in a couple of these games to kind of experiment more. So I do think that, like, for me at least, it's not, I mean, it's not really about the money. It's much like, I think if there are rating points on the line, that would actually like motivate me a lot more.
Is it reflected in the atmosphere in St. Louis? Does it feel a bit more casual, or is it
I mean, I
business
get the
as
sense. I mean,
usual?
this game 60, this final game. I mean, I think definitely the players are fairly serious about that one. But definitely the Blitz and Rapid, I feel like it's a very chill atmosphere. But you know, that being said, of course, at the end of the day, I mean, I am in a unique situation. So it's a lot easier for me to say that this doesn't motivate me, that doesn't motivate me versus the other players. But I still think it's good ultimately that there are good prizes. I think my only complaint maybe with this format is I think it would be better if all the players had to play each other. Like I feel like the fact that, like, I don't know who I play tomorrow. I'm gonna assume that I play. I don't know if they repair at the end of the day or they take the overall standings. I mean, I have no idea.
Well, our understanding is there kind of is no standings.
No, but what I mean is, do they repair? So does that mean that today, since I won my match, I'm tied for the lead with like Fabiano or something? Like, so I'm like number 2, and so I can't play Fabiano, so I have to play like Wesley or someone?
They pair whoever is closest in terms of earnings, right? And
Oh, is it earnings? I mean, again,
yeah,
I don't
it's
actually
earning.
know.
It's earnings.
So, okay, so Wesley and Fabiano must, well, but actually,
Well, I think Levon needs to play someone, right?
that, yeah, so I guess I play Wes. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
So
know. I
maybe
don't know.
Wesley plays Levon. Either
I mean,
Wesley or you have to play Levon.
right, correct, yes. Well,
Or
actually, no,
maybe
no,
not,
wait,
because
wait,
Levon won the classical game today.
wait, but Fabiano has played Wesley and myself. So Fabiano has to play Levon, so I have to play Wesley, I think. I think. Right? Because Wesley and I must be the closest
No,
to
but
Fabiano.
Dominguez played against Ray.
But Dominguez, okay, I don't, I thought Dominguez, did he lose to Ray or not?
He
I thought
lost
he
the
lost to Ray.
classical game yesterday, right?
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm getting really confused
Or was
now.
that against Levon?
No, Ray and Lenier played yesterday, but
How
Ray
do
won
you
the
even
classical game, right?
how did you even find out, let's say last night, about the pairings? Did they message you, or were they published, or
I just went on chess.com and I looked at the events page. I mean,
Well, then
that's not always.
that's the plan for tomorrow too. Then
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually, I'm really confused. What did Ray win by? I mean, I can find it myself. I mean, I can look. I'm actually getting really confused now by everything. Um, okay, so round 1, Wesley got 2.5, so Wesley cashed big. Fabiano beat me, and then, oh no, Dominguez and Ray drew 1.5, 1.5. So that means, what does that mean? That means
I
that
think you're playing
Wesley,
Levon, is my guess.
um, Levon got half, and then today he got 2. But Levon won
Fabi
the classical game.
Fabi against Ray, Wesley against Dominguez, and you against Levon. That's gonna be my guess.
I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong actually, because Levon won the classical game, which is worth 7,000. So I think I think Levon is closer. Basically, Fabiano can't play Wesley or myself, so I think he has to play. He has to play Levon. No, he has to play Levon. It's a forced pairing. He plays Levon, and then I assume that I play Wesley.
well, actually,
I should have more earnings.
Jaren has just pulled up the earnings so far, which should help, right?
Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so wait, so that means actually Fabiano plays Ray. Fabiano plays Ray, and then I play Wes, and then whoa, no, but Levon can't play Linear. Oh my, oh yeah, okay, oh, yeah. Wait, so Fabiano can't play Wesley, he can't play me, but if he plays Ray, uh,
Maybe you play Dominguez and I know, but Wesley played Levon yesterday. Yeah, no, so that was...
So yeah, Wesley has played Levon and Fabiano, right? So Wesley can only play me or Ray. Fabiano can only play Ray. I mean,
I like also. I like
Fabiano
how
gets
the
priority, though.
regulations just say, yeah, the arbiter is just gonna make the pairings, like.
No, but I mean, okay, so like Fabiano gets priority. He's number one seed, whatever, most money, however he's the number one guy. So Fabiano gets priority, which means he has to play Ray. That I think is forced. And then it's Wesley. Wesley has to play either myself, Aronian, or Dominguez.
But he can't play
So
you.
Wesley,
Because...
but Wesley can't play me because then the.
Yeah. But maybe Wesley plays Levon? No, they played yesterday. No.
Okay, no, they're saying I play
Does that
Ray.
mean that
Okay.
Fabi cannot play Ray? Because then the other pairings aren't...
No, Fabiano is playing Ray. He is playing Ray. So yeah, so what I thought happened. Fabiano gets priority, plays the guy closest, and then Wesley plays Lenier, and I play Levon. Right. It makes sense because yeah, it's a forced pairing. Yeah, exactly. No, it makes perfect sense, actually. Perfect sense. Okay. So yeah, so I
do
Levon.
believe this is what I said. I'm just gonna put it out there.
But yeah, no, but I mean it's forced though. Based on what I said about Fabiano having to get the first pairing, it actually is correct. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, so I guess I play Levon tomorrow. No idea what the colors are. I mean, I'm kind of like clueless, but it is what it is.
Well, that was fun.
I want to relay a question we had from chat, Hikaru, about the order in which the games are played. What do you think about starting with the Blitz game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, I mean, there are a lot of things that are very tricky about it. I personally feel like it's better to start with the slow game. I think it's kind of weird to have the fast games and then the slow game on some level. To me, it's just kind of awkward. Not what I kind of like. I prefer the other order. But you know, it is what it is. It's not like there's anything wrong with it per se, but I think the other order would maybe be better. So I kind of would prefer the other order, but I also think again, go ahead.
Is it better, or is it something the players are more accustomed to?
I would say that it's I mean, I think it's better. And the reason I think it's better is because it's much harder, at least for me, to kind of slow down and be interested with having played Blitz and Rapid and then the semi-classical. Because like, you know, even this game today, I was moving very, very fast. I mean, I wasn't really using my time, I felt like, other than like one or two moves until we got to like the critical moments. So I would prefer the other order. But I mean, maybe people prefer it the other way. I don't know.
I think it's an interesting start to the day, just right in there, Blitz game. And we've had two crazy Blitz games, right? In particular, the Blitz game you had against Fabiano yesterday. Yes. Oh my gosh, 5 queens on the board. It just sets the tone for the day for the audience.
5 queens? Oh no, there weren't 5 queens on the board. But yeah, so you capture there were
not
4,
at the same
4.
time.
Technically there were 4. There were 4, but it took me a second to remember the game. Yeah, no, I mean there's nothing wrong with the order. I mean, I think it depends what the fans want to see. But just for me, I find it a little bit hard to get into the semi-classical game just based off the order. But you know, for me, I think really the only two things that I would say is that I think it would be better if they like slash the prize in half and everybody plays everybody, and then also you find a way for the games to be rated. That I think for me, that would probably be the two biggest things that like are kind of like I would like to see changed. But otherwise, I think it's good. And, you know, ultimately, as I said, like, obviously I'm in a certain situation, unlike the other players, but definitely getting to play an event for 3 days and make, you know, everybody's going to make probably, you know, 35 to 40 grand. Like, I mean, let's be real. That's very, very generous from Rex. So, yeah, it's good.
Would you be happy to play a rated game if it was 60 plus 30?
Well, but 60 plus 30, is that what make it rated?
I'm not sure.
No. I think it has to be 90. I think it has to be 90 plus 30. It has to be 90 minutes. It can't be FIDE rated if it's shorter than 90.
I don't
which
think
of course
so.
I was told that yesterday. I was told that yesterday by someone who should know that. So That's I was told by someone who should know that, actually. And they told me it has to be like 90 plus 30. They said that's like the fastest time control you can have for FIDE rated games.
Okay, I
But
didn't know that.
I mean, that's what I was told. Maybe they're wrong, but that I was told that by someone who's an arbiter.
Do you
Not the main
think it
arbiter, but
should
someone
be
here.
allowed to be feeder rated at even faster time controls than that?
Hikaru is right, by the way. It's if the players are 1600 or lower, then 60 minutes is fine. But if they're higher, it's minimum 90 minutes.
That's kind of weird, actually. That kicker. That makes no sense at all, honestly. I don't understand why. If you're 1600, it's fine, but above that, it's not fine. Yeah, but anyway, no, I mean, I think because of that, it's impossible to do it just because a 90 plus 30 game, I mean, that's gonna make the day very long. But I mean, there's probably some way you can have it like 60 plus 30 and it's like rapid rate or something, or maybe make it like 45 or 30 or whatever, so it counts rapid. Like somewhere in between. I don't know the regulations. But I think that would help. At least in my situation, I find without it being rated, like I'm taking a lot of liberties and sort of gambling in these games in a way that I probably shouldn't be. So and that's probably due to the format. But it is what it is.
Anyway, it's been an interesting event so far. One day remains. Your thoughts on the matchup against Levon tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I think I just have to keep doing what I've been doing, which is getting good positions. And trying to avoid getting too low on time. I mean, that's really the main thing. If I can avoid getting low on time, I mean, I'm getting the positions. And I mean, I know I sound like a broken record since I've said this a lot lately, or at least since Germany, but I'm getting the positions, and I just have to find a way to convert them. So I don't think my play overall is that bad. I mean, yesterday, of course, was really bad. But I mean, I think my play has been decent, so can't complain. Really, for me, as I said before the event began, I mean, I'm really just looking at this as a way of sort of getting warmed up for the American Cup, which will be starting next week. So that's kind of like the biggest thing for me. It's just making sure that I'm that I'm ready to go for that event in so much as I can. But it is, of course, tricky too, because like there's certain openings that I haven't been playing here that like I've been studying. So it's like it's kind of difficult because it's like saving certain things and not showing other things. But again, if I don't feel like I've been outclassed here, and if I'm not getting outclassed, then I'm generally gonna be pretty happy.
Since you brought up the American Cup, I'm just going to ask one final question.
Sure.
It's more of from a fan's perspective, because the American Cup, like you say, feeder rated.
Yes.
What is that part of your plan for how to qualify for the next candidates tournament?
Good question. Yeah, so I think this is not what people are going to want to hear, but I don't really feel like making stuff up. Nothing has really changed. I said this in Germany after I lost to Sindarov. Obviously, some people assume that I said in the heat of the moment. Aside from talk about like stepping away from classical chess, really, the American Cup will be very pivotal from the standpoint that I think if I play well in the classical portion, there's still a reasonable chance that I'll try to play the Grand Swiss and the FIDE World Cup. If I do not play well in the American Cup, I will basically just bet it all on the FIDE World Cup, and if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. But so it's going to be very, very critical in terms of my year as it relates to classical chess. I've said a lot of stuff on this topic as well. But I think due to these freestyle events specifically, you have the freestyle events, you have the Esports World Cup, you have these tournaments with very, very big prize funds. I think that most players these days are not looking at the candidates as that big of a deal, honestly. Everybody's going to try to qualify or play some terms to get there, but I don't think people are looking at it as the most important event and the end all be all the way that they did before. Simply due to these other events that have much bigger prize funds. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you look at freestyle, if you play a couple of the events and you finish in the middle of the pack, you're making more money than anybody except the winner of the candidates. So I think going forward, most players are going to be much more focused on these other events, and sort of they'll play the World Cup, play the Grand Swiss, play these things. If they make it, they make it. But I don't think people are going to really be all that worried just because of the multiple opportunities that exists. So for me, the American Cup will go a long way. If I play well in that in Classical, there's a very decent chance that I'll play in the Grand Swiss in September. If I don't play very well in the American Cup, I'm simply not going to play the Grand Swiss because my schedule is too busy as is. And I'll simply play the World Cup. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. So it's very much a binary situation in terms of what happens.
So and maybe I haven't really done my homework. Is there no scenario in which you qualify through your rating being ranked number 2 in the world?
I mean, I'd have to play 40 games, and it comes back to the typical equation. It comes back to the question: am I going to suddenly decide I don't want to play the freestyle events, and sacrifice potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in income to try and chase what I perceive to be very much a lottery, even if you make it to the World Cup, make it to the candidates? Do I think that my chances of making the candidates and winning are higher than the amount of money I would be sacrificing by skipping the freestyle events? I think the answer is no, honestly. I think the answer is no. And I think it's a good thing that recently we've seen some articles. Like there was an article that I read on stream about Jan Krzysztof Duda. There was another article about Vidit Gujarati. And you sort of see the candidates, and I think how the players look at it initially, and then once they play, you get burned out. You feel like it's this big lottery, this luck fest in a sense. And so for me, I don't think the value is there, the value proposition. If I look at the freestyle events, I think in general I should be able to finish. I mean, I know it's changed from 10 to 12, but let's just say it's a 10-player field. I finished in 5th place. I made $50,000. I think on average, if it were 10 players, I'm going to finish 5th in every event or better potentially. So it's a big sacrifice. And I just don't think that the candidates tournament is it's a tournament where, having played it quite a few times, you can play very well, but there are going to be some critical moments where things are completely out of your control. You never know who's going to tilt when. You never know who's going to play well at what moments. So I think putting all my eggs in one basket and thinking about the candidates or trying to get to the World Championship, it's just not it's not a plus EV play versus playing all the freestyle events. So unless I were to forego the freestyle events and try to play some opens, whether it's the US or elsewhere, I don't really see that being a path. And it's, as I said, for me, when I look at that equation, I don't think it makes sense. I just don't think that the value is there. I know people in chat feel differently, but that's I feel like that's what it comes down to. If I think I'm going to finish in the middle of the freestyle events or 4 events, that's probably 200 grand or more than that. Candidates, unless you win the event, you're talking. I mean, second place is what, like 50,000. So you're also going to have a lot of expenses, trying to prepare for months on end. And I think at the end of the day, when I look at the candidates, it's generally there is a lot of luck involved. There is a lot of luck, not so much in how you play, but like when you get certain pairings and how things shake out. And I don't think that's worth more than the freestyle event. So again, to cut to the chase, or just to be blunt about it, I don't think trying to play 40 games, even if I were to qualify for the candidates, is worth more than like finishing in the middle of the pack in 3 or 4 freestyle events, or even outright winning one and getting 200 grand. I just don't think it. I don't think the value is there.
It looks like there will be quite a lot at stake at the American Cup. Between this event and the American Cup, there's just over a week. How seriously are you gonna prepare for the American Cup?
I mean, of course, I'm gonna do my best. I mean, it is classical chess. It is the one rating that, to make a joke, it is the one rating that I kind of care about. So I will try to do my best in that event. I'm gonna try to prepare. So that'll be a good barometer for where I'm at. I think when I look at my play, at least in recent times, the slower the game is, generally the better I am. So I'm pretty excited to play in this event, and everything will hinge upon that. Also, because when I talk about the Grand Swiss, if I think most people probably have some idea of this, but it's funny when I played professionally last in 2019, I traveled, I think, like 280 days of the year in 2019 playing tournaments. And, when the pandemic hit and we got into 2020, and then I got used to being at home all the time, I sort of told myself I was never, ever going to go back to that lifestyle of traveling nonstop around the world. And yet somehow here we are in 2025, where with the Esports World Cup, with the freestyle events, the American Cup, all these different things, like I'm actually probably be traveling quite a bit this year. And it's funny because, as I said, in 2019, I told myself I would never do that again, and yet somehow here we are in 2025 where I'm doing that. And so if I, as I said, if I play well in the American Cup, I'll most likely play the Grand Swiss. If I don't play well in the American Cup, then I'll almost certainly play the St. Louis Rapid and Blitz in August and not play the Grand Swiss. So all these decisions are straightforward and binary for what happens. But you know, I don't want to travel if I can help it either. So that also plays a big role too.
Speaking of that, are you going to stay in St. Louis then, between the this tournament and the next one, or
Yeah.
are you going home in between?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if I could, but you know, this isn't necessarily, you know, it's obviously people know that I feel like I'm near the end of my career, but actually my stepfather is having a big retirement party of his own in New York City in a couple of days, which I obviously have to go to. So I'll be going to New York for a couple of days for that, and then I'll come back to St. Louis afterwards. But yeah, life goes on. Life goes on.
Well, this was a very interesting interview that certainly raises the stake for the American Cup. Looking forward to that already. But first, there is the last day of this tournament, of course. Tomorrow you play Levon. So we wish you the best of luck for that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I'll just say one more thing. No, I mean, it's certainly it's fun being in St. Louis. You know, also I would say, again, not to like be this doom and gloom, but also, you know, in many ways I've been very lucky because here in St. Louis they've been holding these events pretty much since I first won in 2009 when I won the U.S. Championship, and to see everything that's happened here, you know, it's been 15 plus years that I've been playing in St. Louis. Just all the great stuff that's happened, all the big tournaments, all the prize money for the players. You know, it's been really great to see such a really really great benefactor like Rex Singfield and all that he's done for chess here and chess in America. So I mean, even on that front, like it's you know, quite amazing looking back and to see, you know, all the familiar faces, all the great events, all the moments here. So it's really nice being in St. Louis. I mean, in many ways, my professional career it didn't start here really, but like to that winning the U.S. Championship in 2009 was really a start of breaking the top 10 and everything else. And just it's always great to be here, and it's always great to see that chess players are so appreciated. And you know, we can only hope that it will continue to be like that here in St. Louis or even America. So it's been great, and I'm really happy to be in St. Louis.
That's really nice to hear. I've never been. I'll have to make my way to St. Louis someday. I know,
You've never
Hammer.
been, Fiona?
No,
But you can
someday.
get one of these mugs.
Yeah,
Well
so
played.
yeah, no, it's been great, and I think, you know, people can say what they want about various things, but it's really great to feel like there's support for the top players, because it's something that I mean, most of my career, and frankly, in many places, not something that was ever applicable. So it's been a great ride here, and it's great being back, and I hope everybody enjoyed the show today.
Hikaru, we will let you send us out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hope you guys enjoyed day 2 of the Champion Showdown. We'll be back tomorrow with the third and final day of the event. But that's going to do it for right now. So see you guys tomorrow, and hope you enjoy the show. Have a good one. Bye.